Us this morning, we have to talk about the silliness, the circus that arrived in D.C. Actually, that's probably a misstatement. The circus never really leaves the Democratic Party out there. Alex, good morning. How are things?
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
I really appreciate you making some time today because it must be a very, very busy time out there in D.C. when you stop to consider everything that's going on out there.
But a very exciting time. For conservatives, I think that we could have no better choice than Judge Kavanaugh in a Supreme Court nominee. He's someone who's just eminently qualified. He has earned the praise across the political spectrum from liberals and conservatives alike. And I think that what's important about Judge Kavanaugh is that he is going to interpret the law as written. He follows an originalist jurisprudence, and that's what we care about as conservatives. And so I think that we could, have no better choice despite the Democrats' antics yesterday.
Yeah, it is so interesting to me, and I'm sure it happens on both sides of the aisle on weekends where they know that they have a big Monday coming up, right? People will get together and, well, what are you going to say? And then I'll say this, and let's have a plan. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like this where you have 70 people arrested, 63 disruptions, 115 minutes worth of delays. As we said, the circus was in town yesterday. That's embarrassing. Well,
let's start off by noting that that's a pretty pathetic way to spend a 3-day weekend.
Oh, my God.
During the summer is to plan out, your resistance to this nomination, given Judge Kavanaugh's qualifications. So, whether it was the protesters or it was Chuck Schumer coordinating with Dick Durbin and all the different senators on the Senate Judiciary Committee, to try to disrupt the process, it's pathetic, it's petty, it's beneath the dignity of their offices to be doing that. But I think that someone, of course, who could not resist, she simply couldn't help herself. She had to inject herself into this situation, even though she's not on the Senate Judiciary Committee, as Senator Elizabeth Warren. And so she was outside with the protesters, basically encouraging them to keep protesting, to keep getting arrested, to keep disrupting the proceedings. And, this is just the kind of radicalism that a majority of Americans are just not going to support. And I really don't know how this is playing into their midterm strategy, where they're trying to present themselves, or they seemingly be trying to present themselves as a qualified alternative.
Well, I asked Ox this question, and I have to ask you, Alex, how does this message get through to voters who really have a brain, right, who really... Listen, I don't consider myself to be a Democrat. I don't consider myself to be a Republican. I try to have common sense, and I would hope that other voters across the country have some common sense. But how do we get that message to the people that need to hear it the most? This is so embarrassing for the country.
Absolutely it is. The fact that the judge's daughters had to be escorted from the room, just shows how sad the situation has become. But, I really think that the voters are smart enough to see the antics on display yesterday. I think that voters inherently don't like chaos. They don't like, they don't like things that look messy and look petty. And this is exactly what this looked like yesterday. You had these senators that were just shrieking, and people in the back who were getting arrested, and sitting at the table is Judge Kavanaugh, ready to present his qualifications. So I think that if you're the American people and you're watching just that visual alone, you're going to look to see, you're going to say, all right, this guy deserves a shot. We should hear what he has to say. And I think, in terms of getting that message out there, I think that it's incumbent upon groups like America Rising to make sure that people are seeing what the Democrats are doing. And I think that's something that we've been actively pointing out throughout this confirmation process, is the different ways that Democrats have tried to stymie the entire thing in lies and in misdirection. It's really just a terrible shame what they're doing.
Alex Smith is the executive director of America Rising. You've seen her on Fox. You've seen her on Fox Business, all over the place. Quick question for you, though. Is what we are seeing, the behavior of people out in Washington, D.C. at these confirmation hearings, Is it a direct result of fear? Are the Dems so afraid of being shellacked again like they were in the presidential election?
I think what's the primary motivator for this kind of behavior is an attempt to rile up their base. Because, of course, coming into the midterm elections, you're looking to win over independents, but you want to make sure that your base shows up, that they're the ones that are going to be donating the money, making the phone calls, doing whatever needs to be done to get elected. And this is exactly the kind of fight that they love. Unfortunately, for Democrats, though, this was illustrated, by the way, yesterday. Senator Ben Sasse had a great moment where he called out his colleague Cory Booker for literally sending a fundraising email with his name on it during the hearing, encouraging people to donate in order to stop the Kavanaugh nomination. And so, I think that the American people, when they look at the kinds of extreme tactics that were used in this hearing context, and they look at the Democrats who are perhaps running in some of these red states that the president won in 2016, they're going to say, are you with the guys that are getting arrested in the back, or are you there to do your job? Are you there to represent us? And, I think that Democrats are going to have to choose very quickly whether or not they want to keep appeasing that base or they want to try to appeal to a broader swath of voters.
Alex, it will be somebody asked, is it going to be round 2 of a boxing match today, or will it be the second act of the play? We'll just have to wait and watch, won't we, today?
I'll tell you what, Judge Kavanaugh, he's a knockout, so get ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, thank you so much for your time this morning. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
AM 1450, FM 99.3, KNXI. Let's see, Alexandra Smith, Executive Director, America Rising, an alum of the Catholic University of America, graduated from the University Honors Program, magna cum laude, Seton Hall University School of Law, licensed attorney out there on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, D.C. You will see her on Fox. Alex Smith with us this morning on KNSI.